Jay-Z just took one of the biggest public losses of his career, and the person celebrating on the other side, none other than Nas. What was supposed to be Jay-Z's next billion-dollar empire, a flashy Times Square casino backed by Roc Nation and Caesar's Palace, just got rejected by New York officials.
Wednesday, a state board rejected the Times Square casino bid from Jay-Z in Roc Nation and those companies that I mentioned.
And almost instantly after, Nas's Queens Casino project got the green light. $5 billion on the line, and the headlines are saying it loud: Queens gets the money. Fans are calling it poetic justice. The same Nas who hit Jay with Ether 20 years ago just humbled him again, not in the booth, but in the boardroom. It's not just business, it's payback wrapped in politics.
Did I lie? Did I not tell you them crackers was not finna get Jay-Z no damn casino in New York City? Did I not tell y'all that? This man done would have took a loan against his house because they wouldn't even give him a loan to go and put a bid in on the casino because he had the owner of Caesar's Palace and then he had an ex-federal informant and mob ties down there trying to put a bid on a casino to bring in the Broadway.
Jay wanted Manhattan spotlight. Nas built something real in Queens. Now the internet's buzzing with one question. Did Nas just outplay Jay-Z again? This time for good? Because if this is round 2 of their legendary rivalry, the stakes aren't just pride or bars anymore. They're billions. But that wasn't the whole story. What came next would leave even Jay-Z stunned. For years, Jay-Z has built his brand on one thing: winning. Every move, every deal, every headline seemed to remind the world that he doesn't lose. From the Marcy projects to the billionaire list, Jay turned his story into a blueprint for success. So when word broke that his Times Square casino project just got rejected by New York officials, fans couldn't believe it. This wasn't a small setback. It was a public L for a man who built his image on being untouchable. Jay-Z's plan was bold. Partnering with Caesar's Palace, he pitched a luxurious, Vegas-style casino right in the heart of Times Square, the kind of flashy move only someone like Hov would dare to make. It was supposed to be a cultural landmark, Broadway lights mixed with billion-dollar ambition. He called it a project for the people, promising jobs, tourism, and a new era of entertainment for the city that made him, but behind the scenes, New Yorkers weren't impressed. Residents said it didn't belong there. The Broadway League called it disruptive. Local business owners feared it would turn their historic district into chaos. Even city planners voted against it. Just like that, Jay-Z's billion-dollar vision vanished before the ground was ever broken. For Jay-Z, this was more than business. It was personal. His casino was supposed to prove that Brooklyn could own Manhattan. Instead, the city slammed the door in his face. But what came next made the loss sting even deeper, because just days later, an old rival stepped into the spotlight. While Jay-Z's billion-dollar dream in Manhattan went up in smoke, Nas was quietly making one of the biggest power moves of his career. And he did it right in his hometown. Just days after Jay-Z's Times Square casino bid was rejected, the state gave full approval to Nas's $5 billion Queens casino project. The timing couldn't have been more brutal. It was like deja vu. Jay takes the spotlight, talks big, then Nas comes through with a clean win that shuts down the noise. Nas didn't chase the glitz of Manhattan. He stayed grounded, choosing Queens, the borough that raised him as the site of his next empire. His project, backed by Resorts World at Aqueduct, isn't just a casino. It's a massive entertainment and community hub, a sports academy, live concert arena, and hundreds of new jobs all rolled into one. And when Nas spoke about it, his tone said everything. Calm, confident, no shade, just pride. The future is not something you wait for, he said. It's something you build. For fans, that statement hit like a punchline straight out of ether. While Jay was out pitching Vegas-style luxury to investors, Nas was building real legacy at home, and the city rewarded him for it. Even Queensboro President Donovan Richards couldn't resist throwing a jab. Sorry, Jay-Z, we win again.
And there's a theme in Queens, and I know Nas is a part of this. Queens get the money. Sorry, Jay-Z, we win again. I just had to rub that in.
It wasn't just a win for Nas, it was Queens reclaiming its crown. But this wasn't just business pride, it was a quiet reminder that history was repeating itself all over again.
I'm still thinking about Jay-Z and Nas both being part of bids to get casinos in New York City. Do you know how big that is? Drop on the clues bombs.
That is amazing.
I don't think people understand because they so rich and they be doing so much stuff. I don't think people get it.
Like, they both submitted requests for proposals for something like that on the same, well, everybody had to do it on the same day, but that's the architect of Reasonable Doubt and Illmatic, and they're both part of bids to get casinos in their hometowns in New York City.
Think about it. They both came from the hood.
That's
Nas from Queensbridge and Jay from Marcy, and
come on, man.
What they did with their music catalogs and how they turned it to big business with investments. Nas with Uber and Ring and
who dating who is cute and who getting tattoos
Jay
who is cute, but God dang.
The liquor brands, Roc Nation.
All of it is nice, though. All of it. and this is great.
And where they are now
For New
in
York,
life.
this is gonna be real great, even greater for New York. This is amazing.
To most people, this casino war looks like business, but to New Yorkers, it's something much deeper. This is Queens versus Brooklyn all over again. The oldest, most prideful rivalry in hip-hop turned into a billion-dollar rematch. It's not just Nas and Jay-Z anymore. It's the culture, the boroughs, the legacy of who truly runs New York. Brooklyn, Jay-Z's turf, has always been about flash, hustle, and domination. Jay built his brand on that energy from Marcy Projects to Madison Square Garden. He made Brooklyn the symbol of power. But Queens? That's the borough of soul, lyricism, and authenticity. It's the home of LL Cool J, Mobb Deep, 50 Cent, Nicki Minaj, and of course Nas, the man who gave hip-hop its poetic conscience. So when Nas locked in a $5 billion win while Jay-Z's flashy Times Square plan crashed, fans didn't see business moves. They saw Queens taking the crown back. Social media lit up instantly. Queens gets the money became the new battle cry. Memes of Nas grinning next to a crying Jay flooded X and Instagram. It felt like 2001 all over again. Ether versus Takeover. But now it's lawyers and contracts instead of bars and beats. And the symbolism? It's poetic. Jay wanted Manhattan, the heart of wealth and fame. But Nas went back to the streets that raised him and still walked away with the bigger win. Queens stayed real and still came out on top. This wasn't just a rivalry ignited, it was legacy coming full circle. But Jay-Z isn't the type to take a loss quietly. And what came next proved he was ready to strike back. Not on a track, but in the shadows.
With their decision, as they obviously voted against the casino.
You know it. We met the standard and then some, and the only one with courage to stand up is the governor and the mayor appointees, and everybody else runs and hides.
Before casinos and billion-dollar business deals, this tension between Jay-Z and Nas was born in the booth, out of pure pride, power, and competition. Back in the mid-90s, hip-hop was New York's crown jewel, and both men wanted to wear that crown. Nas had already cemented his name as the golden child of Queensbridge after Illmatic dropped in 1994, an album so raw and poetic that critics called it the gospel of street rap. He was the voice of the city, the one everyone respected. Meanwhile, Jay-Z was the quiet hustler from Brooklyn trying to break through. In 1996, he dropped Reasonable Doubt, a classic now, but it didn't make waves right away. Jay wanted Nas's respect, even asked him to appear in his Dead Presidents video, but Nas never showed up. Instead, Jay sampled his voice for the hook without permission.
That's of how you made this beat.
I was at one of those conventions, like a How Can I Be Down or something like that, and I think Nas' album had came out. And every car that was driving by was playing Whose World Is This? And I, you know, and the pianos and the drums and the whole cadence of that record had me like, yo, this is amazing. I want to make a song like that.
And from that moment, the energy shifted. Nas saw it as disrespect. Jay saw it as business. But to fans, it felt like the spark of something much bigger. As the years went on, their tension turned into full-blown war. Jay started throwing slick shots in songs like Where I'm From, while Nas clapped back with lines on We Will Survive, hinting that Jay was trying to steal Biggie's throne. It all came to a head in 2001 when Jay dropped Takeover live at Summer Jam, calling Nas washed and finished. Then Nas struck back with Ether, a lyrical firestorm that didn't just beat Jay, it defined a generation. From that point on, the rivalry became hip-hop legend. It wasn't just about music, it was about respect, ego, and who the city would call king. And now, decades later, that same war for New York seems to be playing out again. Only this time, the weapons are boardrooms, not bars. If there was ever a moment that changed hip-hop forever, it was the day Nas dropped Ether. Before that track, Jay-Z was untouchable, the self-proclaimed king of New York, calling shots, stacking hits, and flexing power moves. But when Ether hit the airwaves in 2001, everything stopped. It wasn't just a diss track, it was a cultural reset. Nas didn't just respond to Takeover, he burned it down, line by line, leaving Jay-Z's entire image in ashes. Jay had gone on stage at Summer Jam, calling Nas washed up, claiming he only had one classic album, and saying his reign was over. Fans thought it was checkmate, but Ether flipped the board. Nas went straight for the jugular, calling Jay fake, questioning his credibility, mocking his looks, and clowning his obsession with chasing Biggie's legacy. It was brutal, but it was also poetic. He didn't just defend his name, he reminded everyone why he was the voice of New York in the first place. The impact was immediate. The streets crowned Nas the winner. Fans were chanting Nas won across radio stations, barbershops, and block corners. The word ethered even became slang, meaning to destroy someone beyond recovery. Jay tried to hit back with Super Ugly, but it backfired hard. He crossed a personal line, bragging about sleeping with the mother of Nas's daughter, and it got so ugly that even his mom made him call into Hot 97 and apologize live on air. That moment humbled Jay-Z. It reminded everyone that even the biggest mogul could bleed, and from then on, their beef wasn't just about rap, it became about legacy.
he was saying put Nas on the record.
Oh, and Jay and Nas were beefing at the time.
Well, he just won.
Oh, wow.
That was right after either. Yeah.
Well, who won that one to you?
Nas won.
Easy. Yeah. Why do we not remember that? Like,
because he just Nas won that battle.
Depends which records we in.
No,
that's crazy. It's called Ethering someone for a reason. Yeah.
It's not called whatever. Takeover was way harder.
But nobody calls, damn, you really took him over.
Yeah, look.
You ethered him.
That ether, that shit that make your soul burn slow.
You got people there. Look. Who's best is to the actual, the fans' perception of the artist. Because if they're really passionate about you, then you're the best.
He left Rockefeller after that.
Yeah.
He said,
I rock hoes, y'all rock fellas.
Wait, we rock hoes, y'all rock fellas. And he's like, I think I got to buy Def Jam.
That was kind of crazy.
I need a new label.
But years later, that same pride would spill out of the studio again. Only this time, it wouldn't be over verses. It would be over power, politics, and billions on the table. By the mid-2000s, after years of lyrical bloodshed, fans thought the war between Jay-Z and Nas was finally over. In 2005, Jay shocked the entire hip-hop world during his I Declare War concert. The name alone had people expecting chaos, maybe more disses, maybe new enemies. But instead, Jay walked out on stage, called out Nas, and brought him out as a surprise guest. The crowd lost its mind. Two men who once traded the most savage diss tracks in rap history were suddenly shaking hands, performing together, and standing shoulder to shoulder like old friends. That moment was legendary. It symbolized peace, growth, and respect between two kings who had nearly destroyed each other for the throne. They went on to record together Black Republican, Success, powerful songs that showed maturity and unity. To fans, it looked like the feud was buried for good. But behind the smiles, something deeper lingered, an unspoken competition that never really died. Because when two alphas share a crown, peace only lasts as long as no one moves the throne. Every time Jay expanded his empire, from Rock Nation to billion-dollar deals, Nas made quiet, strategic moves of his own. He didn't chase the spotlight, he just waited. That truce looked solid on the surface, but everyone in the industry knew it was fragile. You could feel the tension in every interview, every subtle lyric, every business headline. So when Nas suddenly emerged years later with a $5 billion casino deal, right after Jay-Z's dream project got denied, that peace officially shattered, and the quiet rivalry was back in full force. This casino saga isn't just another business deal gone wrong. It's a modern-day chess match between two hip-hop kings who turned their art into empires. On one side, Jay-Z, Brooklyn's ultimate mogul, the billionaire who built Rock Nation, Rockaware, and DeSucre from the ground up. On the other, Nas, Queen's quiet visionary, who played the long game through smart investments in companies like Ring, Coinbase, and now a $5 billion casino project. This isn't just about money, it's about legacy. When Jay-Z's flashy Times Square casino proposal collapsed, insiders said it hit harder than any diss track. The city didn't just reject a project, it rejected him. Jay wanted the crown jewel of Manhattan. He envisioned his name glowing above Broadway, his empire rooted in the very heart of the city that made him. But the denial stripped away that image of invincibility he'd spent decades crafting. Meanwhile, Nas played it differently. No press conferences, no big talk, he kept it close to the chest. And then out of nowhere, boom, Queens gets approved for a $5 billion casino complex, a deal that not only promises thousands of jobs, but stamps Nas as a hometown hero.
The future is not something you wait for, it's something you build. It lives in the hands of the doers, the dreamers, the people who refuse to stand still. Resorts World is more than a casino. It's energy, it's opportunity, it's hope for the borough. A second chance for some, a first step for many. It's where community gathers, not just to win, but to build a future once imagined. This isn't just business, this is legacy. And now it's time to invest in us. Because the future doesn't ask for permission, it moves with purpose. From our chairman to our newest employee, we're committed to Queens. And in Queens, the future is now.
To the public, it looks like poetic justice. To Jay, it feels like betrayal. Fans are calling it Ether 2.0, except this time, the lyrics were replaced by land deeds and boardroom votes. Jay-Z's ego took a hit, but Nas's legacy grew stronger than ever. And now, all eyes are on Jay-Z, because when he takes a loss this big, he never stays quiet for long. The question is, what move will he make next? If there's one thing hip-hop has taught us, it's that history has a funny way of repeating itself, especially when it comes to Jay-Z and Nas. What started as a lyrical war decades ago has has turned into a high-stakes business rivalry worth billions. Back in 2001, Jay thought he had Nas cornered, ready to claim the crown for himself. Then Ether dropped and flipped everything. Now, over 20 years later, the same story is unfolding, just with bigger players, fancier suits, and way more zeros on the line. Jay wanted to own Manhattan. The lights, the billboards, the legacy. He saw a casino in Times Square as his next empire move, a way to stamp Brooklyn's dominance right in the heart of New York. But instead, the city shut him out and handed the win to Nas, the same man who once humbled him on the mic. Nas didn't need to say a word this time. His victory spoke loud enough. Fans can't help but laugh at the symmetry, Jay overreaching, Nas striking quietly from the shadows, and once again walking away with the crown. Except this time, it's not just about rap, it's about legacy, power, and who truly represents New York's soul. And maybe that's the point. No matter how high Jay climbs, it seems Nas will always be there, waiting for the perfect moment to remind him, Queens still gets the money. After all these years, Jay-Z and Nas are still proving that hip-hop isn't just about beats, it's about power. What started as a lyrical rivalry has evolved into something far bigger, a war of influence, business, and legacy. The Casino Showdown is just the latest chapter in a story that's been unfolding for decades, a story of two men who shaped the culture and now shape the skyline. Nas's $5 billion win isn't just a business victory, it's poetic. The quiet kid from Queensbridge just outplayed the billionaire from Brooklyn again, and the symbolism couldn't be clearer. Queens gets the money, Brooklyn takes the loss. But if we've learned anything about Jay-Z, it's that he doesn't stay down. He plots, he studies, and when he strikes, it's surgical. So now, the city waits, the fans wait, because everyone knows this rivalry doesn't end, it evolves. One win, one loss, one move at a time. And whether it's music, money, or Manhattan, Jay and Nas remain what they've always been, the architects of modern hip-hop. Queens may be celebrating tonight, but tomorrow, Brooklyn might just answer back.